Hi, this is Matthew Robert Payne. I've been doing a series on a playlist where I interview God while my co-author interviews God, and God answers questions through me. And that playlist is called Fireplace Chat with the Trinity. And in part 130 that we uploaded last night came in this comment basically on what God was saying. And I want to read the comment and then go on and speak about the message for a few minutes. So, one of the followers who listened to every one of these hour-long messages wrote this. I recently read a message by a preacher that I've heard the great preachers of our time proclaim, that what Jesus taught before he went to the cross was meant for people under the old covenant. Jesus himself tells us that he invested 3 years of his life into his message, yet no one pays attention to it. Now, let's be frank. Haven't our leaders led us into the greatest of heresies by shepherding God's flock away from the message of the great shepherd himself? No wonder the church is what it is. So, what he was talking about, those great preachers, they teach that Jesus was teaching the law in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. He was teaching the law to the Jews and the Pharisees and the people of that day in order to have them confess their sins and accept him as Lord and Saviour. But great teachers like Joseph Prince that he mentioned, he's got a huge reputation, a huge following. They teach that Jesus' message in the Gospels isn't meant for Christians today. That was meant for people in Jesus' day, and we're meant to follow what Paul preached, and that's a heresy. And Jesus and the Father were stressing that Jesus did 14-hour days. He woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning, or started ministering about 6 o'clock in the morning, and went to about 10 o'clock at night ministering. And he spent 3 years preaching a message which can be summarized in his 50 commandments and his 54 parables. And people like Joseph Prince say we don't have to obey them. That's the law, and the law has passed away. And Jesus himself said, until heaven and earth have passed away, not one full stop or comma will pass away from the law. So not only has the Old Testament law not passed away, but the new covenant of love, the law of the 50 commandments and 54 parables, is still standing, and we're to obey that. Jesus said, no one is greater than his master, but if they're doing a good job, they'll become like his master. How do you expect to become like Jesus Christ if you don't obey what he taught? If he was a rabbi teaching his students, which are the disciples, how to live as a rabbi and how to carry his message, surely the message that the disciples brought was really his message. What's the point of his living? Was his living just for the cross? Was his living just to die on a cross? Any person could do that. Jesus totally wasted his life because so much of the church don't even understand or obey his 50 commandments. And there's not one Christian I know that understand his 54 parables, let alone obey them. Jesus said at the end of the Sermon on the Mount, anyone who hears these sayings of mine and does not do them is likened unto a foolish builder who built his house upon the sand. And when the storms and the floods came, the house fell, and mighty was the fall. Christians think that accepting Jesus as their Saviour and saying a sinner's prayer makes them build their life upon the rock. And that's a heresy, and that's a false teaching, because there's many Christians that Jesus is going to say, "Depart from me, I never knew you." When Jesus said, anyone who hears these sayings of mine and does not do them, he's saying, if anyone hears these 50 commandments of mine and hears these 54 parables of mine and does not live his life according to this gospel, he's a foolish man who's built his life upon the sand. The church is deceived. I don't want anything to do with it. I'm a Christian preacher. I'm a Christian prophet. I'm a Christian teacher. But I want nothing to do with the current church. She's become so disobedient, so blind, so rude, so arrogant, so ignorant. I hope this was a wake-up call to you. Rather than leave you without resources, I've got 2 books that are 99 cents each on Amazon. That's the cheapest I could make them. If you haven't got the money, write to me on email. I'll send you the 99 cents so you can buy them. One of them explains the parables at 700 pages. It's called The Parables of Jesus Made Simple, explained by Jesus himself. Jesus sat down with us and 54 videos taught his 54 parables and what they mean and how to apply them in the modern day. I encourage you to get that book. You can download the Kindle app on your computer or the Kindle app on your phone. You don't need a Kindle to buy a Kindle book. There's a second book called The Commandments of Jesus Made Simple, explained by Jesus himself. That explains what his 50 commandments are, how to apply them, how to live your life according to them in the modern day. If you haven't read those 2 books, and learned to apply those 2 books, in the days to come, as we approach the rapture and the tribulation, there's going to be hard days. Unless you've lived and practiced those commandments, you're going to struggle. Time is short. You can thank me for this video by writing a comment and saying what you feel led to say. You can help this video by sharing this video on your social media. You can help me promote this video by liking this video, and you can help yourself by subscribing to my channel. If you sense anger, there's a real frustration and anger in my spirit because the world is dying and the Christian church is a very bad example of the love of Christ.